Parents strongly caution, the following programs are intended for mature audiences over the age of 18. These programs may contain some material that many parents would not find suitable for children and may include intense violence, sexual situations, coarse language, and suggestive dialogue.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to Absolute Hysteria, episode number 3. We back at it. Y'all know what it is. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you haven't shared this out, please go and share this out to all your friends. Let them know we're live. We're in effect for this fine Sunday evening. And as you can tell by my intro and today's topic, I'm excited because we're talking about the Rob Zombie Halloween remakes, 1 and 2. And in a future episode, we'll discuss the new ones. But right now, we're going to discuss the Rob Zombie remakes. And it's only fitting that I bring my brother from another back on this motherfucker again, because he's one of the other big Myers fans that I know. So we're going to bring Kinkaid in the fold.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. And also, we had another surprise guest that said they were going to pop in. Y'all may know him from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Give a shout out to my boy, Kidd Jewell.
Hey, I get to stay up late tonight. What's up?
Hey, he ain't got no bedtime. He's free to hang out with the grown folks. No pun intended.
First time in many years. You have to stay out late.
Many moons. So like I said, y'all, welcome to Absolute Hysteria. We on volume number 3, episode 3, all that good stuff. And like I said, we're going to talk about Halloween, the Rob Zombie remakes. But first, we're going to jump into the weekly news. And this week on the weekly news, we have some good ones. We have, looks like 4 good little topics here to discuss. The first one, it'd probably be the longest discussion, and I'm going to kick it off with a banger. I seen this earlier this week, and it pissed me off. It made me feel some type of way. So, as you guys may know, Tony Kahn is the owner of AEW, the rival wrestling organization to the WWE. And Tony is pretty much a moron. If you don't know or haven't watched his press conferences, he's not very intelligent. Tony was on a podcast during the Super Bowl. He was on a Sports Center podcast during the NFL draft, and they asked him about the WWE, his thoughts. So he let out with this. He said, "We're up against an evil juggernaut. AEW is like Pepsi. WWE is like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling." So let me get this right, Tony. Tony, you're saying that WWE is like Harvey and you're like Pepsi. So you're comparing a soda to rape. And one furthermore,
More, a powerhouse organization versus a powerhouse organization led by a rapist.
yeah, but see, here's the thing though. The powerhouse organization is no longer led by a rapist. The powerhouse, the alleged person that I think he's
Yeah,
referring to
allegedly.
is gone. And this comment was just made 2 days ago. Vince McMahon hasn't been a part of WWE in 2-3 months now. So who's he referring to?
I mean, Vince is always going to be tied to WWE because his father created it. He led it into multiple generations, and I mean, it's tainted, bro. Like, it's going to take a long time for Vince's, undoing of WWE to be undone. I mean, the jokes are going to come, and I'm here for it.
And I think it's funny that he chose Pepsi. Of all,
Yeah, when it was Coca-Cola.
You could have chose Coke, but you chose
Right.
Pepsi. And guess what? The guy that you hate the most in the world that used to be in your organization, they call him Pepsi Phil, CM Punk. Because he has a Pepsi logo tattooed on his freaking arm.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's funny that Tony chose Pepsi instead of Coke. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because he absolutely despises CM Punk at the moment. And another shady thing that he did was CM Punk, when CM Punk was getting a little notoriety, CM Punk threw a little shot at him on a podcast. So Tony Khan released that video of CM Punk beating up Jack Perry in the locker room.
Mm.
Cody Willett, what's up? Whoop whoop. Eric Whitler, what's happening? I see you guys. Appreciate y'all for tuning in.
What's up, Eric?
Vince McMahon is still gonna have say so in WWE because he's still got goons that work there that he's able to get through to.
Well, supposedly right now, speculation, a lot of the big guys cut him off for fear of their career.
I don't believe it.
The only two people that they've been able to prove that is still in contact with Vince is John Cena and The Rock. Even the Undertaker supposedly cut him off.
I think he's still in with Bruce Pritchard.
I'm sure there's more
That
that
makes
they haven't
sense.
been able to catch. Because, Vince laid the foundation for the company. No matter how much you hate the man, he laid the foundation. You can't always judge a company by their spokesperson, or you can't always judge somebody's work by the person.
Yep.
Just like, look at certain artists, that have done crazy things. R. Kelly, Michael Jackson,
P. Diddy.
P. Diddy. He said the magic word.
Every mainstream artist currently.
Yep.
No Diddy.
Yep.
Kid Jewell said one under his breath, but we might not. Let's just leave that one. Let's leave that one be.
We'll keep it going.
Yeah, let's just keep that one a buck. But yeah. So Tony Khan basically, like I said, went on his little rant and threw a little jab at WWE, and I'm excited to see what somebody says back because Triple H will probably respond because Triple H has responded to everybody from AEW who's talked shit. Will Ospreay said something, Triple H rebutted. They've been going back and forth, So I'm willing to see where this is going to go. So next topic. So if any of y'all haven't watched the AEW biographies they're called AEW or not AEW, AE, the channel AE. They have they're called Legend, the biographies. They do them on all different wrestlers. And some of them are amazing. The Shawn Michaels one's amazing. The Bret Hart one's amazing. And this week I checked out the Razor Ramon one. Scott Hall, Razor Ramon. Fucking fantastic. Like, it had me in my feels. I wasn't aware of some of the shit that Scott Hall endured in his life. I never knew that Scott Hall had a murder under his belt.
I told you about that.
Yeah,
Oh, he was shooting that guy.
Yeah, shot him at a nightclub in self-defense because he was a bouncer, you know? And they said that was like the turning point to where like he basically kind of lost himself. Like he was screwed over. His head was messed up after that. That's why he started leaning on drugs and alcohol so much. Even Kevin Nash said that when the cameras were on and people were around, Scott was fine. He was good to go. He was happy. But as soon as he was alone by himself in his head, he turned into a whole other monster. Like that PTSD hit, and he would start reliving the past, you know? And it just speaks a lot on people's mental health, man. You just don't know what people's going through. Even people that you idolize or you think they're celebrities, you don't know what they're going through in their personal life. So I just want to throw this up there for a little bit. Give a little shout out to Scott Hall, Razor Ramon. You know, one of the best to do it, in my opinion.
He was an amazing entertainer.
I actually want to get this on a T-shirt because this is, if you're familiar with his Hall of Fame speech, he dropped a quote on there that's going to live on forever, and I want this on a T-shirt. Hard work pays off, dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
Yeah, he was an amazing person.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And it was crazy that he went through all that shit and almost died. And DDP and Jake the Snake were starting their journey together. And DDP reached out to him and Jake both. And he was at an all-time low, bro. He was in a wheelchair bound. He couldn't walk. He was bad. And DDP's like, hey, come live with me. Come stay with me. I'll get you back on your feet, and I'll straighten your life out. He's like, just ask Jake. And Jake's like, you know, he's legit. He's helped me. You know how bad Jake the Snake was.
Right.
And he turned his life around. And DDP got him back in shape. He actually was able to get back into wrestling, like, you know, not full time, but he was allowed to make appearances and stuff. And apparently, you know, he lost it, relapsed, and, you know, had a fatal moment. But let's see. Dankus Magic. Yo. Sup, ninjas? What's up, Dankus?
Good up, family.
Let's see. What up, Jeff Carroll? What's up, homie? How you doing?
Oh, Jeff.
Dankus Magic said, love the Outsider's Edge or the Razor's Edge.
Yep.
See, Dankus, you're going to want to tune in because I was telling Kid earlier, on a future podcast, I'm going to have everybody do their top 10 or the top 5 Mount Rushmore of finishing moves. And I could tell you right now that the Razor's Edge is on my top 5.
Diamond Cutter, boy.
Hey, that Diamond Cutter was sick. Diamond Cutter / RKO, man, it was sick.
DDP just, we'll save that. We'll save that.
Oh, yeah, we'll save it. And we're going to do probably the same episode. We're going to do top 5 Mount Rushmore of finishing moves. And then we're also going to do top 5 Mount Rushmore of matches. Like
when we do that, though, brother, we're gonna have to extend the episode longer than an hour. It's gonna have to be a special. It's gonna have to be a special 2 hour at least.
Oh yeah, we'll get it cracking, man.
Yep.
But
because I'm gonna be winded.
So we'll be winded.
You got top 5 matches for me. Oh boy.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, so moving on. We're going to move on to the third bit of business here. Violent J, Insane Clown Posse, the Duke of the Wicked, was on a podcast recently. I can't tell you the name of it because he did like 10 podcasts in like fucking 2 weeks. It was the last one that I seen. I think it aired like a week ago. And he made the official announcement that either later this year or next year, we will officially be getting the Insane Clown Posse reunion or farewell tour. It'll be their last full-length tour as the Clowns together. Then that's going to happen either late this year or early next year. He said that they will probably still do solo tours, and they'll still do their big shows. You know, the Juggalo Days, Juggalo Highos, the Gatherings, Big Ballers, Hallowicked, all that. But this will be their last big tour, full-length tour together. So I thought that was real dope, man. I'm definitely trying to get a few spots on that tour.
Yep, sir. I mean, which me and you, I mean, during the Three-Headed Monster tour when we was kicking it to Motel Room, I mean, we both had our ideas on why, when, and how that would happen, and we both, you know, we speculated heavy on it, and I mean, obviously, our vision came true of what was going to happen for it. So I mean, it's nothing that, you know, any Juggalo didn't see coming.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You know,
so I mean, I'm just glad that it's coming sooner than later. That way, you know, we could all try to, you know, rally together and be a part of this, because it's going to be a big event.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't care what I got to do. If we got to travel a few,
if we got to buy on, bro, I'm for that.
It's going to happen, because I can't continue on my career and without saying that I did the last ICP tour. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a mark you got to have on that record.
Yep.
Right.
Gotta make it happen.
So whenever that's announced, you know, expect to see, you know, your boys rocking, you know, maybe a couple, but at least one, but maybe a couple. We'll see what kind of shit we can pull off. But next part of the news is not really local to us, but just out of our heart and our respects. I want to pay respects to the fallen and the people of Sulphur, Oklahoma. They just had 3 tornadoes touch down and destroyed man. I'll show you. Like, it's crazy. So there's before and after of the little downtown area.
Wow.
Here's an actual picture of the tornado.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Here is a shot, like a, you know, and then here's like an overhead shot of like a little neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like, it did pure devastation, bro. 3 tornadoes touched down in one area. Like, that's crazy. So our thoughts, shout outs, condolences, you know, positive vibes, everything goes out to Sulphur, Oklahoma. We hope you guys can rebuild, and hope all the families are safe, and, you know, they find new shelters, man, because that's a sad time, man.
Absolutely. Bless be to all those affected.
Yep, for sure.
So, man, that was the news segment for this week. Next week, we'll touch on some more news. If you guys hear anything you think you wanted us to cover, make sure to hit me up and let me see so I can do a little research, and we'll bring it to you. But other than that, let's move into the meat and potatoes of the thing, man. We got the Rob Zombie 2017 Halloween and the 2009 H2. We're going to start, of course, with the first one. Couple quick facts before we jump in. The film had a budget of $15 million and grossed 80.4 in the box office. So a nice little jump out, you know, nice little revenue on that movie. You know, they did pretty well.
It was a bag
with the first one. The cast was star-studded, bro. Like, I just jotted down, about 10 names here off the top, and there was more I could have added. But you had Tyler Mane as Michael Myers. You had Sherry Moon Zombie as Deborah Myers. You had Dag Farich as the kid Michael Myers. You had Malcolm McDowell as Dr. Loomis, and he killed the role. I didn't like him as much as I did Donald Pleasant. How you ever say his name? Pleasant?
Yeah. Malcolm McDowell, though, I mean, he showed up.
He showed up. He did a really good job at that role. Scout Taylor Compton played Laurie Strode.
Yep, Danielle Harris.
You had the original OG, Danielle Harris, the Scream Queen, played Annie Brackett. Here's one that really surprised me. You had Chucky himself, Mr. Brad Dourif, played the sheriff, Danielle's character's dad. He played Sheriff Brackett in the movie. And that one stunned me. I was like, damn, is that Brad Dourif? Like, is that Chucky? Just shows you that Rob Zombie had some pull.
Oh, yeah. I mean, which just was also, a lot of the cast is people that he's either featured in music videos that he's done skits with, or, I mean, he's worked with most of these people throughout his career.
Yeah, in the last three, definitely. Danny Trejo played the janitor / guard. And then Bill Mosley and Sid Haig, you already know their history.
Well, I mean, you got to think too, Big Joe. I mean, got Ken Ford there and William Forsythe. Yeah. I mean, William Forsythe, is the reason Michael Myers in this one wigged out, man. I mean, constant abuse, torment from the stepdad. I mean, or boyfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, he caused him to flip out, bro.
Yeah. And also, there's two people. Well, no, they're in the second one. My bad. We'll get to that one later. I noticed two familiar faces in that one that I didn't even notice the first time I watched it.
Or Richard Lynch.
Richard Brake. No, not Richard Brake. The dude from 31, and he's a White Walker in Game of Thrones too. That Richard Brake. No, I'm talking about I'll get to him. I'll get to him when we get to part 2. But so movie basically, like Kinkaid was saying, the reason I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. People might not agree with me. This is my favorite Michael Myers film.
You're reaching.
This is my favorite one, and I'll tell you why it's my favorite one. Because the links of the backstory. I liked Michael as a silent character. I liked how they did him in the originals, but they didn't tell much. They didn't tell nothing about him.
Right, I get that.
Why he was crazy, why he did what he did, his family life. All you knew is that he had a sister that he was obsessed over, one that he killed, and a baby that he was obsessed over. That's all you know. And the Rob Zombie. They started out with him as a kid, or like you said earlier, his stepdad verbally and mentally harassed him, verbally, physically. He had that slutty sister that made fun of him, gave him a hard time. His mom, played by Sherry Moon, it showed, her being
very loving.
Yes, very loving, but her being a stripper gave kids at school target. They made fun of him about it. And that didn't help his mental at all,
And then he was trying to take care of an infant that he cared for inside the house. I mean, kind of being the protector brother,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he lived in pretty it showed him living in lower class America. Like a lot of children have to endure what he's going through right now.
Mm-hmm. And all he wanted to do was go trick or treating. He just wanted the sister to take him trick or treating. And she had to be a slut and, get fucked. So he went out. I guess he went trick-or-treating by himself and kitchen table, eating his candy.
He snapped, boy.
Yeah. I guess he snapped off, looked over at the stepdad laying back in the chair, all chilling, all comfortably.
Passed out drunk.
Yeah.
Passed out duct tape.
And the stepdad had already threatened him at the beginning,
Yeah, making fun of him because he killed cats.
Yeah. And slurs that we can't use.
Michael said, if you can't duck it, fuck it.
So, Michael went to work on the stepdad boy, cut him up pretty good. Duct taped him to the chair first.
Yeah, duct taping good, bro. Like that should have been a duct tape commercial.
Hey, that was the gangster part. You know, he wasn't just going to like cut his throat and cut him up. He wanted to make sure that motherfucker couldn't move.
Right.
So he duct taped that bitch to the recliner.
I don't know. The most gangster thing he done in that set of kill scenes back to back was when he popped old boy in the head with that ball bat.
Dude, that was so fucking graphic.
Dude just wanted a sandwich. Like,
dude was smashing this. Dude was the reason he didn't get to go trick or treating, though, because he, his sister.
Yeah, but he just wanted a sandwich, bro. Like he didn't even, you know what I'm saying? Like he just down there making a sandwich. Michael walks up behind him and says, "Batter up," and just blasts him.
And boy,
then continues.
And the crazy thing about that scene, bro, and not actually how gory it was, but the sound of that baseball bat hit me.
Yeah, the effects behind it, man. You would have thought Tom Savini had a hand in that. The way it played out, it was beautiful.
And that's another thing, when it goes to my favorites of why this movie is my favorite compared to the old ones, is just the sheer amount of brutality. You know what I'm saying? Michael,
are we doing kill scenes? Favorite kill scene?
Oh, we're going to get to that, yeah.
All right.
I'm just running through the general storyline or whatever. So yeah, he takes the dad out, goes upstairs, or he takes the boyfriend out first. His boyfriend was getting a sandwich, took him out, then he got his little costume together and went upstairs and got Judith while she was chilling in bed or putting her makeup on. I don't remember which one.
He stabbed her in the stomach when she was coming down the steps.
That's right. She come downstairs looking for the boyfriend.
Yeah, and he was like, gank.
Yeah, he got. Then she ran. Then
Butcher
she ran.
her.
Yeah, then she ran from him, and he had to stab her up a couple times.
Brutal.
And then, like a gangster again, he goes over, grabs his little sister, walks out, sits down on the porch, and waited on his mom to come home like nothing happened. She pulls up, like, why you got the baby outside? Like, what's going on? Walks in, screams, boom. Michael goes to kiddie jail, to the insane asylum.
Yep.
I don't think it was a kiddie jail. It was a full throttle psych ward. It's just the way they had it set up. He was just there as a child.
Yeah. So then then Loomis comes in. Dr. Loomis comes in, and Loomis was played by Malcolm McDowell, like we was talking about earlier. And Loomis is trying to reach him as a child and understand him and get to know him and kind of find out how he ticks. And at first he seemed pretty. He was a normal kid to Loomis, like. And then Loomis started seeing the darkness in him, the way he would flip out for certain things. The mom would come to visit him and, bring him food and snacks and stuff. And everything was kind of looking up there for a while. Like he was actually kind of, doing the right type of shit. I don't remember the exact point. What had happened? I don't remember. He had a bad day or something. Remember what led up to him turning and stabbing that nurse?
Christmas time had rolled around, and he had wanted to go home, and Dr. Loomis had pretty much told him no. And then a couple of weeks later, his mom had showed back up to visit him, and he had, he was walking with his mom. She tried to take the mask off of him. He flipped out and told her to put the mask back on, and he wasn't eating. So they put him back in there and set him at the table because they were having dinner. So Dr. Loomis wanted to talk to his mom, and they walk out together. And as they walk out, Dr. Loomis has a nurse come in to sit with Michael, and he's walking out to tell her that he doesn't understand Michael's behavior and why Michael's shutting down the way he was. And that's when Michael took the time to, stab her to death with a spork.
Yeah, carved that bitch up. And then they came back in. He was just sitting there. Like,
yeah, he's just standing there looking at her like calm, like, okay.
Yeah, and I think that was pretty much the point where she went home and offed herself, right?
Yeah, the baby crying and her sitting there, fiddling with the gun and everything, man, and just blew her head off.
Yeah, because she pretty much knew that his life was over, that there was no coming back from that. He was officially done. Like her son was gone, basically.
I mean, it's crazy because she still had an infant child in there with her, but man, I mean, I couldn't understand a parent's grief that lost that many kids and her old man, and then knowing what her child done after holding hope that eventually he'd get out, and he went and done that.
And another thing I never noted I kind of wish they would have covered. I wonder what happened to his real father.
Shit, I don't know, man. She probably didn't even know him.
Yeah, they never really covered that. They just showed the stepdad.
Yep.
But you're right. I say where she was a stripper, probably didn't even know his real dad. Probably one of them things. That's how that's probably the way Zombie would have went with it eventually.
Yeah, I think so too.
And so then she offed herself, and then of course the officer Brackett, played by Brad Dourif, he took the baby to people that he knew, the Strodes, and they adopted his kid sister, and the whole town and all the cops pretty much buried it, and they were never to speak about it again. Nobody was to speak of what happened, how she died, Michael, her relation to Michael. Everything was supposed to be sealed and never talked about again. And it showed Michael progressing in age. Michael grew up to be a freaking monster. Like, I don't mean just like monster as in psycho. I mean, he was 7 feet crazy.
Yeah, he was large.
He was a large man.
Tyler was a huge man.
And that's when you get to see Danny Trejo kind of interacted with. Well, Danny started messing with him when he was young. And
yeah,
he grow up.
No diddy.
Exactly, no diddy. And
20-year caretaker.
Exactly. And Danny liked him, Danny wanted to give him, the opportunity. And Danny didn't see him as like a kill, like the rest of them that beat on him and stuff, and they treated him like an animal. Danny actually treated him like a person, Which that makes me sad how he ended up doing Danny, though.
Well, I mean, I think the reason he done Danny is basically when Danny Trejo's character opened up the door, he had two options. He could have freed Michael and let Michael go out that door, or he could have put him in handcuffs. When he tried to put him in handcuffs, he became just another person trying to restrain Michael. And in Michael's eyes, he was there wrongfully, because if you recall, when Michael was younger, he doesn't remember doing anything wrong. When that mask goes on, he forgets everything. He becomes a demon, and Danny was like literally right, and when Danny tried to put them cuffs on him, he could just let him go. I'm sure Michael probably wouldn't even kill that guy.
Yeah. But like you said, he tried to prevent him from escaping or getting out. So
he dropped that TV on him.
Boy. Then he tried to drown him first.
Broke his jaw.
Man.
Boy, it was gruesome.
That whole shit was gruesome. Then how he took out those other security guards was crazy too.
That's what we're gonna get into.
What's that? All the other security guards?
Yeah, that's my favorite kill set from the movie.
Hell yeah. So we'll come back to the skill set, but so then we move on. He escapes, and everybody knows where he's going. He's going to find his baby sister. Goes home, goes looking for baby sis. Trying to think. It's been a while since I actually watched it. I'm trying to think of how he got her.
Well, he stalks her. I mean, he first goes back to his childhood home, and that's when he watches her and her two best friends walking down the road.
Yeah, Danielle Harris's character and the blonde.
Yeah, that's when she calls him like a peeping Tom and tells him that her father is a sheriff, yada yada, and Michael takes off. Then he goes back to the house, and that's leading up to when her first best friend goes to the house and has sex with her friend, and Michael kills both of them.
Yeah, and then he got Danielle's character. He thought he killed her, but he just cut her up pretty good.
Yeah, like what was it? Like got her in her leg and in the shoulder, and got her in.
She had got her on her face, like they had to sew her face up and shit.
Yeah.
In the second one, you can see the scars, where he cut her and shit. And then that's when the dad came home and found, the dad figured out where he was going, and he went to his house and had to find his daughter naked, not naked, topless.
Yeah, because before he kills the best friends, I'm thinking he goes to the Strode house, the family house, looking for Lori, and they wouldn't tell Michael where Lori was at, and he kills the dad first and then kills the mother.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get to that on the second movie because I'm not going to go into crazy detail with the second one, but I will talk about that. But, so yeah. So he takes the Strodes out. Then he goes after Annie. Eventually skip a little bit, he gets a hold of Lori, and he takes her like to this underneath of this house where the tombstone of Judith is at, Judith's tombstone's down there, and she's all tied up, and when she wakes up, he's kind of kneeled down, and he has a picture. He kept trying to show her a picture, and she's like, she doesn't know who he is, of course. She's like, what the fuck why are you showing me this? Da, 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 da. And then he takes his mask off and trying to show her that that's him in the picture, that it's them together. And it's, his baby sister, and she doesn't understand it. She just thinks he's fucking psychopath, And it makes me wonder at that point, bro, like, I don't think he ever wanted to hurt her.
He didn't, man. His whole thing was to protect her.
Yeah.
I mean, if he wanted to hurt her, he would have obviously, smashed her into the concrete and, when he killed everybody else.
Yeah. And then him taking the time to take his mask off and make himself vulnerable to her to get her to know who he really was.
Yeah.
It showed that his intent, man. Like he didn't want to hurt her. But then she fucking shoved a knife in his neck, and tried to kill him first. Now then, I guess after that, she became a target. Do you think after that he was pretty much like, yeah, fuck you, bitch, or do you think that he really wanted just to get her to stop?
Yeah, he wanted her to stop.
Yeah.
I don't think at no point that he really wanted to kill her. That was the only family he had left.
Not until the second movie. Then he wanted her to die.
I'm not gonna.
After she pretty much shot him in the head, or shot him wherever. I think she shot him in the face, or whatever it was. But yeah. So they have, of course, they had a brutal battle in the house. Lori and Michael, and then Loomis gets involved, and Michael he stabbed him. Did he stab him or did he shoot him? I think he stabbed him.
I can't remember.
He got Loomis one good time, whether it was I think he stabbed him.
Yeah, he stabbed him.
Yeah, he got Loomis one good time, and then him and Lori had their little battle, and then I think they battled out, or they fell through. Dude, like I said, it's been so long. I should have watched that, so I would have knew exactly where I was at. But I think they ended up outside. Like they fell. Did they fall? They fell from the house or something. Yeah, I think they fell from the house, and then they struggled around. That's when she got the gun, that big old Desert Eagle looking fucking gun, and fucking took him out. Hit him with that headshot, and then she goes walking up the road, all bloodied and battered, holding the gun, like fucking shaking and convulsing and shit. And I think that's pretty much the gist of that one in a nutshell. So now we can go back to, we'll do your favorite scenes, and then we'll do your favorite kill scene. So my personal favorite scene, there's so many of them, but I think I'm going to go with the bullies. Those kids at school pull out that picture of his mom, where she had her little pasties on her nipples and shit, and the kid was like, "Hey, you think your mom would give me a BJ for $1 or something like that?"
A quarter. Well, you think your mom will let me play with her tits and suck my dick for a quarter?
Yeah, they were all giving him hell in the bathroom, and he kind of just, they ganged up on him. He kind of took it all in and held it up, and then when they get in trouble at school and they're leaving, he stalks the one kid down into the forest and beats the brakes off of him with a tree branch. Like that was actually his first. That was like his actual first kill. Well, besides animals, he killed some animals. We actually kind of skipped over that, but the whole school bully scene, we kind of skipped it, but I'm touching on it now. The bullies fucked with him, and he ended up catching the main bully out and beat the brakes off of him with a tree branch, and kid got up begging for forgiveness, and Michael was like, nah, you talked about my mom, you tried to beat me up, so now I'm just going to end your shit, and fucking smashed him in the head with the tree branch. So that was my favorite scene. What about you?
All right, yeah. One of my favorite scenes, Danny Trejo, taking care of him for 20 years. He's trying to reason with Michael. Michael seems sincere about letting Danny put the handcuffs on him. Michael walks up, puts the hands out. Danny goes to put the cuffs on him after picking him up off a dead police officer. Gets within inches, gets the cuffs up to him, man. He pulls his hands away, picks him up, slams him against the wall a couple times, drags him over to the water tank. You see the blood rolling out of his jaws and everything, and starts trying to drown him. And, well, that doesn't work, and you just see the blood rolling out of his mouth from the broken jaw, and throws him on the ground and smashes his head in with the television. I thought that was very well done. It's very well shot. I mean, it's probably one of the most cinematic scenes in the movie, to be honest with you. Like, I really enjoyed it. It was played out well by both actors. It had a very eerie vibe to it. I enjoyed it. It's my favorite scene from the film.
Hell yeah. What about you, Joel? Do you remember the movie?
It's been a long time since I've seen it, and my memory's not the best, so I'm not gonna have a favorite scene.
Got you, man.
And I've seen a lot of movies, a lot of horror movies, and I just can't remember all that stuff.
It's all good, my guy. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and hit the kill scene. Favorite kill scene of this one. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna say, man, I gotta go with the stepdad. You know, him with the duct tape, wrapping him up with the duct tape, and then taking that knife and just cutting his throat wide open, bro. And then he just sat there, and what I like that he just sat there and watched him, like looked him in the eyes while he died, like
with the mask on.
Yeah, he's like, I want you to know that I did this.
He had the mask on, then took it off and just stared at him, like looking dead in the eyes, bro. Like watched the soul leave the body type thing.
Yeah.
Trying to refresh myself on it. I need to go on here because.
All right, well, me again. Officer kill scene. Michael catches a quad. Again, he's playing nice. You got Bill Moseley in this one and a couple other people that you frequently see in zombie films. I'm pretty sure Moseley goes first. I think he takes him out with a nightstick. He breaks the cuffs, grabs the nightstick, then uses his body to shield himself against the woman when she pulls out the shotgun and goes to blast, and then she ends up getting her head bashed against the wall and everything. Like that's probably one of my favorite kill scenes, you know, from actually any Halloween movie, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, he takes out that amount of, you know, officers in a legitimate way, you know, within 15 seconds.
Exactly.
Pretty dope. I mean, it's not like, you know, the John Wick Michael Myers taking out an entire town worth of people. Like, this could legitimately happen.
I was just getting ready to say that. I was like, yeah, you know, the John Wick Michael we'll discuss later, but yeah, I was getting ready to say that. But yeah, man, you're definitely right. Those kill scenes were crazy in a short period of time. It was definitely
yeah. I mean, and you know, Tyler makes it. I mean, he sold it so well, man. Like, you know, his size, breaking the cuffs. I mean, you could actually believe that could happen.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, that was Halloween 1, Rob Zombie. We're about to move into Halloween 2, but first, I'm gonna roll this commercial. Man, what the fuck is wrong with this TV?
I pray it over and over again. Father, forgive me for all of my sins before this pain consumes my soul. This is not how my story ends. I've been begging and begging you, please take this pain away from me. Grant my heart eternal peace and watch my enemies bleed. I pray it over and over again. Father, forgive me for all of my sins before this pain consumes my soul. This is not how my story ends. I've been begging and begging you, please take this pain away from me. Grant my heart eternal peace and watch my enemies bleed.
Hell yeah, man. White Noise coming at you later this summer.
Yes,
that commercial was made by my brother Kinkaid there. Shout out to salute to my guy.
Yeah, I need to get some more commercials for everybody done.
Hell yeah, man. We always play them on here, my guy.
By the way, since you just did a commercial, everybody in the chat, go get you some 606 merch.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Go get you that Wolf of Oak Street. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate you, gang.
Oak Street. Yeah. Actually, I need you to send me, when we get off here, send me that cover, like a good picture of that cover so I could throw it on here. So, like, whenever we talk about it, I could just pop the picture up.
All
right. And yeah, man. So, Halloween 2.
Which I'm just going to go ahead and say is my least favorite Halloween film.
Hey, facts. I'm going to go right behind you. This movie was doo-doo. 2009, this movie it had a budget of $15 million, exactly as the first one did. However, this one tanked. The first one made 80 mil. This one made 39 mil.
Ouch.
Womp, womp, womp.
This tanked. It tanked so bad that they had actually did a contract with Zombie for 3 movies. A lot of people don't know this. There was a 2012 Halloween 3D that was supposed to happen. Zombie had 3 films that he had pitched and had got approved for. And this one tanked so bad that they canceled the third one. I guess they lost faith in old Rob on that one.
I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, I'm not either, because the remakes that we did get were good and I appreciated them. Which, like I said, we'll do a whole other episode about those.
And I am here for another 31, just saying.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But that one, the cast was very similar. A lot of the same characters, a few new faces. And like I was talking about earlier in the podcast, there was 2 guys that were in there. I rewatched some bits of it today. And there was 2 faces that I didn't remember seeing the first time because this show hadn't aired yet. This was before they were on the show. But Bobby from Sons of Anarchy was in Halloween 2. He's one of those crazy guys that jumped out the truck and beat him down with the crowbars and the baseball bat. Right before he killed their dog and ate the insides.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, Mike, you can see Michael gut this dog and eat its fucking kidneys and heart. Very brutal, Michael Myers in that movie. And it also had at the beginning, the ambulance driver was the old man from Sons of Anarchy. You know what I'm talking about? The sheriff that was in love with Gemma.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name, but he was actually he was the ambulance driver in the second one.
Yeah, I can't remember his name right now.
Him and Richard Brake were up there, and Richard Brake had him all grossed out because he was like talking about how some guys from another precinct were fucking corpses, and he was like, "You wouldn't do that, would you?" And he was like, "Never thought about."
You talking about corner hooks?
Huh?
You talking about corner hooks?
Those corner hooks.
Was he the ambulance driver? No.
No, the old man from Sons of Anarchy. He played the sheriff.
I can't remember his. Can't remember his real name.
I know it. I think
I'm looking it up. That too.
I can't. I thought I had it wrote down, but I didn't because I just remembered he was the old guy from Sons of Anarchy, and I remember Bobby, of course. Bobby Elvis. But yeah, a lot of the same characters, a few new faces. Richard Brake, which we talked about earlier, who's also known for 31. He's also known for being one of the main White Walkers and the Night King or whatever it was in Game of Thrones.
Is his name Dayton?
Huh?
Dayton? That actor, maybe?
No.
Wayne Unser? Sheriff Unser?
Yeah, Unser, yeah.
Unser? Yeah.
Yeah, that's his name. That's his name in Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, it says Dayton Cali. Dayton Cali.
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But people know we're talking about. If you watch Sons of Anarchy, you know Unser.
Yeah, that's corner hooks.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, coroner. I didn't know if he was an ambulance driver or coroner. I know he was riding in a van with
Yeah, he played a coroner.
Yeah, him and Richard Brake were the coroners, I guess. And they had that crazy ass wreck. Boy, it fucked them up, boy, and that's when Michael escaped out the van. But like I said, I'm not gonna go too much into the H2 because it was we're almost out of time, but it was just awful. It didn't make any sense. The whole his mom coming back to him as a spirit and with the white horse and
That's at the sanitarium.
huh?
That was at the sanitarium when she shows up with the white horse.
Yeah.
At that time, that's when, you know, Lori's living with the Brackets now, Sheriff Brackett. You know, then what? She ends up going to that party, and Michael's in there walking around in the party like nobody notices the serial killer that just murdered a bunch of people 15 years ago.
Exactly. Oh, here's what I was going to say earlier, but you know, I can't help but feel crazy about fucking Lori, man, because can you imagine you don't know who Michael is, you know who he is now, or actually she figured out who he was in that movie. Somebody told her. I think Loomis or somebody told her the truth.
Yeah, Dr. Loomis told her. He ended up telling her.
Yeah. So she found out that she was the brother of Michael Myers. So then her adopted family, which she thought of her real family, were murdered by Michael. So she no longer had them. Then she finds out that Michael was her brother that had killed her adopted parents. But then she finds out she had a whole other family. Her mom had killed herself, of course, and then nobody knows who her dad was.
Right.
So you find out you had a whole other family that you don't know that are gone, and your adopted family is gone. So I kind of felt bad for her.
I mean, you got to think, too. I mean, this is at a time where Dr. Loomis is traveling all over the country, and he's doing interviews and stand-ups about his book on Michael, and he's talking to schools and everything. And
Bro, that one dad was crucial, though. That one that came up to him in the book signing and gave him a picture.
Yep.
And Loomis is like, who's this? And he's like, you don't remember her? You don't notice her? And he was like, she's beautiful, but who is it? That's my daughter that your monster killed her or whatever.
Yeah, and about the time when that happens, that's about the time Lori starts the hallucinations. And that's when, you know, all the victims' parents and everything start blaming Dr. Loomis for, you know, Michael's actions for exploiting the deaths and everything. That's when, you know, because of Loomis's book release.
I just don't agree how they were like, oh, your monster did this, your monster. Because Michael tried to kill him too.
Right, but I mean, he started making money off those deaths by that book. Like,
That's true. He did exploit, yeah.
I mean, that then shortly after is when Michael appeared at the party and he killed Harley at the Brackett house, and he stabbed Annie, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Lori ends up passing out because of the hallucinations, and Michael takes her into that whatever the fuck it was supposed to be, like rain down ass building or some shit, and he stabs Loomis to death, and Sergeant Brackett shoots him through the window. Like, it's just to me, it was one of the worst Michael Myers, you know, looks, and it was one of the worst Halloween films that we've got.
The only other I will say this because we're running out, but it was the worst Halloween movie. It was my least favorite, and it pissed me off almost just as bad as the last one did. The last one pissed me off. I know we're going to cover this in the future, but I'll go ahead and say it now. When that boy fucking
Ninja Michael
took Michael Myers out, that was just as bad as the Busta Rhymes shit. The Busta Rhymes shit had me hot.
Well, we need to talk about that one because you know I got some shit to spit on that one.
Yeah. The Busta Rhymes shit had me heated, but the new one had me hot too. I mean, I know Michael was old at that point. He was like 60-some years old, 70.
Busta might as well start rapping Break Your Neck.
Why do you have to ninja kick him like that, though?
Right.
Like, it was a whole ass ninja kick. I'm like, damn, Busta.
Yeah, there's been some horrible times on Halloween.
But when the kid took him out on the new one, that kind of pissed me off, even though he got his get back. But yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about that one separately. But yeah, man, that's been the Halloween 1 and 2 review recap. We gave you some of our thoughts on the movie. If you haven't checked them, make sure you check them out.
If you have a movie to recommend that you think we should talk about, y'all should comment, send messages. Tell us what you want to hear us talk about.
We're going to do more of those for sure. We're going to do, like, I've been trying to, I'm trying to throw a bunch of variety in the shows. So, we talk about wrestling one week. We might talk about music one week. Like last week we did the beefs. This week we did the movie. Next week we'll do something different. And then eventually we'll circle back to different movies.
Yep.
If y'all have recommendations,
Jason X, boy, we need to do it.
Or if y'all have topics that y'all want to hear about, go ahead and drop those in the comments. I'm actually going to start another show. It's a segment. I'm going to announce it on all the Facebooks. I'm going to start doing it maybe every couple weeks. It won't be a weekly thing, but I'm going to have an artist spotlight. And it's a paid thing. I'm going to tell y'all that now. It is a paid thing. It's not free. It's not going to be extremely expensive. But what's going to happen, there's 2 packages that y'all can do for serious artists. There's a 30-minute package and there's an hour package. The 30-minute packet, we will bring you on like camera, like we are, and I will play 2 songs or 2 videos. We'll watch them, we'll critique them. We'll ask you a few little interview questions, and we'll cover about 30 minutes. And, you can use it for promotion, whatever you want when the episode's over. That'll be one package. The second package will be an hour package. We'll still do the same shit we did in the first package, but we'll give you a longer, more extensive interview, and we'll give you more feedback and more recommendations on the music, and you'll sit through the rest of the podcast with us and join us on our whatever topics we talk about. So basically, you become a special guest at that point. So I'll have 2 different tiers up if y'all want to choose from. They're very super affordable. It's not going to be no crazy shit. But just a way to give some artist spotlight out there, and a way for me to be able to upgrade the shows, because it costs money to upgrade these shows.
Yep.
I pay a monthly fee just for the StreamYard, and I want to get more stuff added to the show. So we need some artist spotlights. So any artists if you're interested or people, send them my way. Tell them to inbox me. We'll line them up with a date, and we're going to start the artist spotlight. Like I said, we'll do it like every other week or something like that.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. It was something that I had planned on doing previously, but I stopped doing the podcast altogether. So I just never continued with it. And then also, I'll go ahead and let it out. We haven't come up with a date, and we have to come up with all the shit for the show. But me and Kinkaid here are going to do a show for artists as well. It's going to be more of a smash or pass type of deal, like a hot or not, smash or trash, dope or whack, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to each episode, we're going to take submissions, and we'll pick 5 to 10 submissions. We'll play their music or their song. We'll let the people in the chat vote on it. And there's going to be 2 different tiers to that. There'll be a $5 tier and a $10 tier. $5, you can skip the line. So if an artist comes in and they want us to give them like a rating on their song right then, right there, they don't feel like waiting in line, then they can pay $5, skip the line, and I'll load it right in the show. Then there's a $10 platform to where don't do the $10 platform unless you want. And if you're butt hurt easily, don't do the $10 platform. Because with the $10 platform, what's going to happen is we're going to give you our honest to God opinions, no filters, no censors. If it's whack, we're going to tell you it's whack. If it needs something, we'll tell you what it needs. You know, our opinions. You know, everybody's not going to think the same, but it'll be our opinions.
Right, and I'm very honest.
And yes, so if you're easily offended or can't take
don't pay.
criticism, yeah, don't submit your shit or don't pay. But if you don't care and you want some honest feedback and some honest criticism, this might be something you're interested in. But we'll have more intro when we're going to start that here soon. Everybody that I've talked to about it has loved the idea and they're wanting to participate. So we'll have more news on that coming soon. But until then, every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Absolute Hysteria is coming at you. I like to give a special shout out, special thanks to my A1 from day one, Kinkaid.
Hey, yo.
Go check him out on all digital platforms. Stream The Wolf of Oak Street. Help the brother out. Buy some merch, all that good shit. Because we all need that support.
Sure.
And shout out to the little homie down below, Kidd Jewell. You'll be seeing a lot more Kidd Jewell with the camp. He is definitely certified. And make sure y'all check him out. Digital platforms. He's up and coming. He's building his name, and we're going to try to get him out there a little bit more.
It's getting there, man. Appreciate you.
No doubt. And I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we're going to go ahead and cut this one out. Y'all got anything y'all want to say before we cut out?
www.kinkaid937.com.
Boom shakalaka. What you got, Kidd Jewell? You got anything?
Go check out the Easy 606 shop.
That's easy606.com.
Yeah.
Boom shakalaka.
It's bedtime.
It's
Check
bedtime.
Get you some Kinkaid merch, get you some Easy merch. Check them out. All platforms. And they got some dope shit coming.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Red Raven Productions. Y'all need studio time. You're in the area. Y'all need graphics, video work, anything like that. My mixing, mastering, my guy does it for the low, and he will get you taken care of. Just inbox him, let him know what you need.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to head out. Absolute Hysteria Volume 3 is concluded.